Come on, let's be positive. Just stop right there. No negativity. Let's be positive. LBP, let's be positive.
LBP, let's be positive, Matt. Your Liverpool lost to United yesterday. Your Highlanders lost. Your Doggies lost. Your Warriors lost. But at least your Super Rugby Australian sides are making a scrap of it. And the Marty Cup, we've got to talk about that because Twizel, of course, is accommodating over 10,000 young people for what is an amazing event. But let's start with 0-2. And the stat that says from that position, only one team has made the grand final in the last 12 or 13 seasons, and that was the Cowboys in 15. So our Doggies, mate, tell me...
Well, hang on. So it's possible.
Oh, okay. Well, let's be positive. Let's be positive.
What you're saying to me is there have been teams to go further from being 2-0 at the start of the competition.
Good call.
Now, I'm not for 1 minute suggesting that the Dogs are one of those teams. All right? Can we start there?
Well, okay, you aren't one of those teams because you've shown nothing in the first 2 rounds at all to suggest that you are going to be able to resurrect yet another season. At this stage, after 2 games, are you resigning yourself to the fact that it's almost over already?
Well, it feels like it might be, Martin, but there is always a glimmer of hope. But I can tell you what, the only thing that I can say about watching the Bulldogs get beaten again for the second time in 2 weeks this year is that it was a beating from the start. There was never a moment where I thought, we're in it, we're coming back, we're taking it. On the other hand, though, the devastating finale of the Melbourne Warriors game is the kind of thing that I just can't stand for. At least I know we're hopeless. The Warriors, 8 points up, come back from oblivion, look like they've got the game, 3 minutes to go. And they let 2 tries in, and two of the best tries we've seen this year. Just horrifying for Warriors fans, and the only glimmer of hope I got from the weekend is it wasn't as bad supporting the Bulldogs as it was supporting the Warriors.
Well, a crushing loss, but we've got to be careful, Matt, because, the landscape now is that you're not allowed really to criticise this team. They are the darlings of New Zealand sport. If that was the All Blacks giving up that lead, mate, you know what it used to be like on Talkback. We'd be screaming at them for the next 2 years, right? I thought that it was naive of the Warriors. The more I think about it, to give up that lead. Coming back was brilliant. Scoring 20 unanswered points, brilliant. But you don't let a game like that go against a team like that.
No, you don't, Martin. I mean, at the end of the day, you get that close to beating Melbourne after 13 or 14 years of not being able to do it, and they score twice in 3 minutes. Now, you'd think at some point, that you'd be able to hang on for that long. Is it that Melbourne are too good? No, I don't think so. It felt like the Warriors just panicked on defence, and it just went horribly wrong. Horribly wrong. Did you watch the last game? The 6 o'clock game on Sunday afternoon.
Yep.
Pretty similar situation. Very close game, but teams played it the way that you would expect. Close it down. Take your time. Just one out. Don't try and do anything other than hang on. Yeah. I didn't see that from the Warriors. They just, I don't know, the desperation didn't quite seem to be there. That being said, Mark, that last try in the corner where the old mate, the wingers dive from 5 or 6 metres out to get it down. Isn't this game absolutely amazing in terms of the spectacular ability of these guys, the size and the speed and their ability to manoeuvre in the air like that? I wonder whether they're training to do this all the time.
Yeah, apparently so. Apparently that's what he does. I mean, and that is what Bellamy said afterwards. He practices this. So what they do, it's gymnastics is what it is, mate. To be able to twist your body like that. They apparently they put out pads and everything so they fly through the air so they don't get injured, all of that. It was remarkable. The greatest rule change in any sport, I believe, over the last couple of decades, any sport anywhere in the world, is bringing the corner flag into play in rugby league. And you look at rugby, who drag the chain, every single rule, they seem to make it even more complex. That has just provided, as you say, I'll quote your word, a spectacular element to this sport, to this league, to this game. It is just, you sit there in awe and wonder, don't you, when you see that athleticism like that.
Yeah, forget forget about all the other intrinsic parts of the game, the toughness, the tackling, the stamina, all of it. Then we introduce this element into the game. And I don't think that there's a more spectacular moment for fans to view. So I say, as you do, that this being able to take that post out while being in the air, it's delivered something to the game that they're just becoming better and better at. And we wonder where they'll end up. We've seen it in the NFL over the years, you know, the dive over the top and whatnot. It's always looked spectacular. But they don't have to put the ball down.
That's right.
Yeah, you've only got to get into the in goal, don't you? But these guys have literally got to get it in. And I mean, I don't know whether the hand touched the sideline at the same time as the ball, but that's not a try that I would want to see disallowed on what would have just been a judgment call from the bunker, you know. Brilliant.
0-2,
a terrible game for the Warriors.
0-2, Matt. So by 7 p.m. on Saturday night, we would have known the result from the Warriors versus the Raiders, a must-win game, and then it would have been all shut shop as far as the Dogs hosting the Titans. One of us is going to be 1-2. One of us, well, potentially both of us could be 0-3. But I didn't even want to think about that, because at 0-3, the statistics are even. I don't know if anyone makes the grand final after 0-3, or even makes the top. Probably don't even make the 8 after 0-3. That's how important this weekend is.
Oh, it's very important. And you remember we spoke a couple of months ago about the AI thing that said the Bulldogs would be rubbish this year, and I rubbished the AI. Well, the AI was spot on, but the AI didn't say the Warriors would be in 14th with no points on the board either.
No.
Did they?
No.
So, yeah, we got the Titans. Canberra are a pretty good team, Martin. I watched them on the weekend as well. So that's not going to be an easy game. The Warriors just have to start to win and lift.
That's it.
The Bulldogs, we're still in disarray, so I don't even know what to say about us. I thought we'd beat the Sharks and say, get that up, you Warriors.
Yeah, I know.
But it didn't work. Didn't work.
Same as your Highlanders, mate, who I thought were going to beat the Brumbies, but the Brumbies, I watched the last half hour of that game, were excellent. They just ground and pounded, and they actually won that game. The only thing we can celebrate, well, I mean Hurricanes at the top of the table, but we can collectively celebrate the demise of the Crusaders. And don't give me this sympathy trip about, the injury, and no, and woe is that. Mate, they've been dicking us for 7 or 8 years on the trot, mate.
Well,
I'm loving this. You got to love it, don't you?
Anyone not enjoying this doesn't understand what sport's about. We don't have to support all the Kiwi teams.
No.
This Crusaders, they deserve a little bit of a stint at the bottom.
They do.
At the moment, they're only just a point ahead of the Western Force, who are an absolute disaster. You asked me what I thought of the Australian team so far. The Reds have been an absolute victory so far this year. They look good. The Brumbies actually do look pretty good. And I've watched a couple of the Waratahs games. They've been unlucky on more than one occasion. I would expect that by the time we wrap up this top 8, Moana Pacifica will be out of there, and the Waratahs will sneak their way up into there. I think your top 8's almost decided now.